Hi, I'm Callie from Coding with Callie, and I have an update about my website builder. I've moved forward and I now have the ability to create and edit pages. So now I'm getting to the fun part, which is creating and editing content. All right, let's take a look. When I originally thought of the website builder, I thought of the idea of having these well-defined sections. So the idea was that, let's take a look at my current Coding with Callie website to give you an idea, that this would be a section type, right? So it would be like heading, text, circle picture on the left. And then you'd have a different section type for heading, text on the left, image that's a rectangle on the right, and a button that links to something, right? And then each of these different types of sections, right? So something which is a heading and text would be super defined. It would be a React component, and then I would just like include that based on the data in my database. But when I started building it out on my website builder, I realized that I want the ability to have more flexibility in my sections. I don't want it to just be a handful of options, because what if I want to be creative in the types of sections that I have? So I changed the way that I'm thinking of sections. So the section is essentially this white box, all right? And a section will contain something. The first section type that I'm exploring is a content section, but I'll have future sections too, like forms or apps. Those would be different types of sections. And then in content, the way it works is that content is essentially a set of rows. So if I have a heading, that is a row of content, and it's type heading. Then this is my next row of content here, which is media and text. And the type of media is image. And then this section also has another property, another row, content row in it with media and text, but this time the media is a video. But basically, I'm just stacking content rows together in a section, and then all I have to define is the content row, and I can pass in different variables in order to style it. So in this row, I'm saying that the max width of my image should be 30%. But for this row, I'm saying the max width for my media, which is a video, should be, I'm letting it be 100% because I want my video to take up more room on the screen. I also have different types of rows. So now the idea is I need to just come up with all of the different types of combinations that I would want for a row, so that way I can just add those rows to sections. So I thought, okay, well, I already have my heading row type, right? Maybe images with captions would be an interesting idea. I can do up to 4 and I can do down to 1. What's next? The next row that I've been testing out is just a media row, and so that would just be a video. Heading still, and then this is just a row of text, and then text is looped, so it's actually an array of text, so it automatically adds the spacing in between paragraphs. Let's go take a look at the code to have a better understanding of what's happening. So I have nothing in my database. I don't even have my sections table because I really want to make sure I nail down what that schema will look like before I start coding on the back end. So that section 1 that we saw, you'll see that a section is an array of rows, and we have the first row is type heading, and then here's the data, okay? The second row is going to be type media text, and then the data. And then each of these are defined in different types. I'll show you more what that means in a second. So this is a media and text type. And then if you look in the data, it has media type image. And then this is where we set the max width. So if I actually got rid of this max width 30, and then I returned to Chrome, you'll see that now this scales out to 50. You'll see that I'm still kind of working on the spacing, but progress, not perfection. All right, then you will see that right comes with the media and text component comes with media and text. And then it also comes with this text first. So let's take a look at what that is. I'm going to add back the max width 30, and then I'm going to change this to text first. And what does that do? Well, that flips it. So now my text will appear on the left side. It appears first, and then my media appears on the right. So with the same exact component and just passing in different configurations, it looks great. All right. And I could do the same thing with this because this is the same exact component. And as we go through, we'll see that, yep, here is the media and text. I could pass in that text first, change that. I could flip the max width as well. The second one, right, we have images. So let's see what it would look like with 3 images instead of 4, right? Still looks good. The thing that I don't have that I need to have is responsive design. So like it just shrinks, and I need to go ahead and like flip this to column when it gets too small and stuff like that. But that's, again, another progress versus perfection thing. We will get there. Video and text. So how does this actually work in terms of like, this is my sample data, but what happens with that sample data? So here are the sections, right? We have type and data for all of them and their section type. Let's go to our page and take a look. So our page basically will have sections, and that will be a part of the data that we get from the database. And if there are sections, then we're going to map through the sections, get the content out, and then create a section and then map through the content for the section. So a page has sections, which is the white backgrounds, right? And then the sections have content, all right? So when we go to the content this is just kind of like routing, like figuring out which is the right component. So if the content type is heading, then let's get that data as the heading data type, which if you look is going to be text string, all right? And then we pass it to our heading component. If the content type is media and text, let's get the media, text, and text first out of there as the media and text data type. All right, and then let's pass it to that component and so on. And so that is how you have all of the different types of components. We can still use typing, which is still going to be helpful for us to make sure that we're not making mistakes in terms of what data we're passing in. And then ultimately, that is how we will have it. I did start working on as well, so let me log in. The idea of editing. So it's super rough and only in the front end too, but this is kind of what I envision. So you would click add a section, and then here you can either save the section, which will save it to the draft, which it would just be a white box, or you can add content. When you add content, the idea is you would see the type of content, like a list of all of the content available to you. So here we have text and image. So I would either select, okay, yeah, I want my text on the left and my image on my right, or the text on the left and my image on the image on the left and text on the right. That's going to confuse it, right? And then maybe the next thing would be like text and video, and then so on. And so basically, you would just see like what it would look like, and I could click from there. This could get a little bit hard with the different past and like options, right? So for max width, I need to think about like, okay, so this is like when max width is like 30%. Do I need to have other screens where max width is 50%? Is that something that I just edit after I do it? I don't know. You need to think this through more. But this is the idea, is I want it to be like user friendly and not like a form that you're filling out. I want it to be like, oh, I like the way that this looks. Let me click on it and add it to the section. All right. Thank you for watching. Please let me know what you think. And if you have any tips, I would love to hear them.